My last attempt at a morning sunrise from a 4,000 meter peak in North Africa failed. Well, I blame the altitude. Today, I reattempted another sunrise, this time from sea level, and yet again, I failed. Well, I'm blaming the weather app for misleading information. Nonetheless, I'm in Cape Spear, Newfoundland, the easternmost point in North America, and also home every morning to the first sunrise. And this is my start of the East Coast Trail.
Walking slow like a highway chain gang, fishing feelings out my head. Listen to the mountain wolves sing and repeat back what they said. They said,
the prospect of trekking the East Coast Trail was exhilarating, especially since it is located in the Maritimes, my new home. A true wilderness experience, the trail edges Newfoundland's Avalon Peninsula, linking its rugged coastal terrain through fishing villages and historic communities. I started my trek at kilometer 5 of the Cape Spear path, somewhere around over here. For the most part, it's been easy, flat, downhill, with infinite views of the Atlantic Ocean. And the goal for today is to make it to Maddox Cove, which is somewhere around over here, start the Motion Path, and go around Motion Head, which is kind of this corner over here, go around it and hopefully find a camp spot there for tonight. My initial plan was to cover an estimated 30 kilometers per day in order to reach the southern terminus in 1 week. But the deceiving beauty of the trail would challenge me right from the start. So this over here is Maddox Cove, Petty Harbor. I only ended up doing 5 of the 10 kilometers planned for this second leg of the trek. Unfortunately, I did not make it to Minor Point campsite, so I decided to find a spot here off the trail and I'm just gonna make some dinner and hit the sack. Despite being a relatively easy path, my legs gave out and I could no longer continue. I did find, however, enough strength to prepare a well-deserved meal. As I waited for my meal to fully cook, I sat down to watch the sun sink behind the hillside and listen to the sound of waves crashing against the rocky shore.
my home is not a highway, a straight road to follow.
Just left the site where I camped last night. Apparently the 20-kilometer day goal didn't work out very well. Today I'm gonna attempt to do 15 kilometers and hopefully make it to Little Bald Head. Hope today goes better than yesterday. Man, the coastline is rugged and just beautiful. At this point, I was still very much distance driven, which in retrospect distracted me from the real purpose for being out here, which was to relax. Sooner rather than later, though, I would be hit with a reality check and brought back to the drawing board. I just now entered or started this bushy area here on the Motion Path, and while typically I would be scared of a bear popping up somewhere. I think I read there is no bears, or at least there was no mention of bears in the area, so I'm feeling a little bit more confident. And with that same confidence, I pushed forward to Hart's Point Ridge. Unfortunately, that courage was short-lived. The steep descent down the south face of the ridge further aggravated my feet blisters, rendering me useless after a very short interval. And I think I've made it to a campsite. Minor Point campsite. I was supposed to be here yesterday. I guess I'm a day late, and I think I'm not gonna continue forward. I developed some blisters yesterday, and I've been babying my feet all day today. I don't want them to get worse, so I'm just gonna camp here and continue tomorrow. The campsite offers a few decent spots, especially going halfway towards the toilet. I decided to set my tent up here with having views of the ocean instead. Just gonna prepare dinner and call it a day again. It was not until this time, while winding down, that I changed my approach to the trail from destination to journey, even if it meant not reaching the southern terminus. So it actually rained, I would say, quite lightly last night. And it's pretty foggy out there this morning. I'm gonna get going pretty soon. Ready for day 3 on the trail. With a brand new mindset, I set off to complete the remaining 2 kilometers of the motion path in anticipation of starting the spout path. Well, the fog makes this place a little mystical, a little bit different than the other sunny days. Even though visibility was limited by a curtain of fog, the same made for an excellent composition, separating the foreground from the middle ground and background, resulting in a more immersive experience. And by incorporating mindfulness into my walk, I was able to connect more intimately with my surroundings, feeling calmer and grounded. This is the end of the motion path, and right here, a few steps from that, is the start of the spout path. And I'm really looking forward to the freshwater geyser, or the spout. Not doing too bad today. Had a pretty good rest yesterday, and I'm ready to kill it today. The spout path offers some of the most iconic vistas of the ECT, including dramatic cliffs, waterfalls, sea stacks, and its flagship feature, a wave-powered geyser that shoots a few meters into the sky. Water sources were quite scarce on the motion path. I ended up finding a running stream near the Minor Point campsite, and after filtering and boiling some water, this is what I got. Looks pretty disgusting. I'm gonna see what this water looks like. Hopefully it will be clear and better tasting. I would say after filtering the water, it does look a little bit different, just a tiny bit. I think I just made it. Woo. Spout right in front of me. Once I reached the spout, I couldn't stop smiling. And with only 6% of phone battery left and over 11 kilometers to Bay Bulls, I was very conservative with my camera use, yet very liberal with the time I spent here. After running around the spout like a child full of excitement, I sat down in solitude. Here, I did not only think about the rocky and rooty terrain that led my feet to develop blisters, but also soaked in the experience of hearing the ocean rumble as if it were alive and breathing through the blowhole with each eruption. My phone eventually died a couple of kilometers past the spout and did not have the opportunity to record the remainder of this gorgeous path, nor would I make it to the southern terminus as initially intended. However, the days I spent on different sections of the ECT were beyond rewarding. Brief moments in time now turned into memories. And as the old saying goes, you experience every journey 3 times: when you dream it, when you live it, and when you reminisce it.
Slow like a highway train gang, pushing feelings out my head. Listen